did forget how. It's been a long time. We're back in the shop. We got David's 5 Series. This thing was all the way put together on the dyno. Everything was all good, and we decided to upgrade the fuel system on it. So picked up a Radium Engineering surge tank, another Walbro 450 to go with the 450 that's already in the surge tank he has now that we made, and everything associated with it. So a really nice thing about one of these kits is you can leave your stock fuel assembly totally stock, run a feed line to the surge tank, run an overflow line from the surge tank back to the stock tank, leaving your stock fuel tank totally intact with all the venturis, all the fuel level, everything inside that BMW tank, which is complicated, alone. And then you have an upgraded fuel system out here. In this case, we'll be having 2 Walbro 450s and a fuel pressure regulator that he has mounted up in his engine bay. So the 2 450s will be supplied fuel by the stock fuel pump, flowing at no pressure. So the stock fuel pump is sufficient to fill this tank all of the time since it has no back pressure. The flow rate is pretty high. Then the 2 Walbro 450s that are inside of the surge tank supply fuel to the front of the car, to this regulator, return line back to this port here, which also fills and keeps the level of the surge tank full. And then any overflow from the surge tank flows back to the stock tank out of this overflow port. So this is a really nice unit. Radium does a really good job with these. We like to use them. They come with all the hardware, instructions, heat shrink, a really nice little stainless steel filter sock, so you don't have to use the Walbro filter socks. This little guy, and inside here we'll show you snaps together. Super nice unit. So we're going to pull his surge tank apart, get everything swapped over, and show you the process. So before I get too far putting this thing together, I'll show you guys what's inside of here. So once you pull the top off of this Radium unit, it's this nice billet piece. So inside of here, this tank is set up for 3 fuel pumps, and it comes with plugs. So in our case, we're only going to install 2 pumps here and here. So it includes these little plugs, and these barbs are threaded and O-rings. So you're going to plug the port that we're not going to be using in this case, and that's going to take care of basically teeing our pumps together. And then the fuel pumps sit inside of here, right in here, and there's a piece of line that'll go from the pump to the barb. I put it on the one with the plug in it, but you get the point. So 2 of these will be sitting in here. The filter unit, all the pumps are right here, and then this stainless screen bolts on right here for our pickup. So I'll get the pumps put in here, and we'll show you how it goes together. The other really nice thing about these Radium kits is everything comes in the kit that you need. So it included some submergible fuel line, high pressure clamps, enough Walbro plugs pre-terminated and shrink wrapped, or heat shrinked, ready to go on here. So in our case, we're going to be running 2 pumps in the tank, so we'll be running these on here. So basically everything's done for you. It's really hard to beat for the money. Really high quality parts. Everything stainless hardware, anodized aluminum, really nice machining. All this stuff is awesome. Pumps put on here. You see how that goes on. The feeds of each have their own little cavity in here. So once this filter goes on, each one of the pumps pulls through a separate section here. So then it's just gonna about do it for inside of there. What do we have left? Just the filter. Tie this stuff up, and it's gonna get dropped in here, bolted down to the rest of the tank. We got this all put together. We got our fitting swapped out. This car has a 6AN feed, so we swapped that fitting out there in the center. It's actually a 10 ORB in the hat, but we're just running that 6AN. It's plenty for this car. So everything's put back together. Got the filter on there. Everything's tightened up. The main bolt in the center's tightened up. The plug. All the electrical connectors are ready to go for pump 1 and pump 2. pump 3 we won't be using on this one, so we're gonna stick it in the tank, get everything plumbed up. Hopefully this doesn't overflow. We already filled it with fuel from the old overflow. Line up the bolts and be ready to go. I don't know. In the back? Right there. Right there. Make sure you wipe the window off. Is this open? So this is all wrapped up. Just got the one pump wired for now. He's gonna do the second pump because we didn't have another relay. But the radium setup is a nice upgrade over what we had. The tank we originally built for the car. So we'll probably turn it up a little bit, see how we are on our fuel pressure. We were dropping off before, even at the mid 500 horsepower range with the single 450 on full E85. So this will be a nice little buffer, little safety. I'm not going to turn the car up too much, but you're always better off with more fuel than you need than not enough. So this will be included in a video we're going to go about over different fuel system options on a swapped car. We're going to go over the radium tank, upgraded in-tank pumps, and as well as the radium in-tank surge tank that we used in Frank's white car that you may have seen in the earlier videos. We're working on John's 128 today. We're gonna go over the rear end install. He picked up a Ford 8.8 on eBay. This is the 2007 through 10 Ford Explorer 8.8. It's the aluminum housing with the 2 front diff mounts and the rear cover with the mounts built in. Next thing we grabbed was a Ford, part number M-4204 4318C. So this is a track lock center section. You can pick these up for under $300. They already have the Cobra clutches and the big spring built into them. We'll include a link down in the description to Amazon where we got this one. So we disassembled the rear end, put that unit in there. Lots of videos on YouTube. You can find instructions on how to go through one of these rear ends. It's the same as a solid axle. So if you find videos on that, you can cross everything over. So we're gonna be putting his car up in the air and installing the diff today. So the first thing we're gonna show you is how to install my LSE90 mount kit on this differential. It's easiest to install this on the diff first, and then you're gonna lift the whole thing into the car. Then we'll show you it going up into the car. All right, so my diff kit consists of 2 parts. You got the front mount, which is gonna sit here, and the rear mount, which is gonna go across in the stock rear bolts. In the kit, you're gonna get two M12s with a flange head, 2 M14s for the rear mount, 4 M10s for the rear mount, the associated nuts. The fuck did I do with the other bolts?
Donde está my shit?
And 2 non-flange head M12s. So yeah, get this thing. Rear mount goes on with the flange facing backwards. that's it as far as the diff mount goes. You got the front mount, flange nuts on the bottom, the rear mount, 2 flange bolts here. It's a good idea to go ahead and make sure you Loctite all your rear cover bolts after you reassemble everything. Since we are mounting it on this rear cover, it tends to have a lot of vibration, so it's best to Loctite these bolts. All right, so the easiest way, like I said before, you get all the mounts on the diff, and you're basically gonna lift the diff into place. This rear section is gonna land right here on the bottom of the rear subframe. You're gonna be drilling the appropriate holes for this. And then I have the backing plate included in the kit, which you're gonna slip inside of the subframe, and that's gonna retain your bolts from the bottom. The front section here is gonna bolt up to your factory locations with the included hardware. You can go ahead and scoop it back. Oh, okay. Yeah. This is going to end up on the back side of these. So once you get the front, we're gonna go ahead and tighten these up, and then we're gonna lift the differential up. You can reference center line on my bracket with center line on the car, but what you're gonna do is you're gonna use the bracket as a jig. You're gonna drill these 4 holes through the subframe. And then in the kit, there's these tapped plates. These are gonna go into the subframe. Snuck in from this way. On each side, you're gonna sneak this one through as well. Essentially, they're gonna sit inside the subframe in this location with the long side to the center. So it completely supports this bracket inside the subframe. Then you're gonna use the M10 bolts to go through here. They're gonna bolt into here. So one thing you're gonna notice is 2 of these holes, depending on the year model of your car, if you can see this, will line up with existing holes in the subframe. That's what you can use for your alignment. That's going to catch either the inner hole or the outer hole, depending if it's a 1 series or a 3 series and the year. They kind of change this around. So on this car, we're only going to need to drill these outside holes. Then we can slip the subframe stiffeners in and tighten it up. All right, so we've got our differential all bolted in. You're going to have to install the included aluminum reducing bushings and the new outer seals that fit the cups that comes with the Seems Legit axles. So you go ahead and pop your axles in here. What we're gonna do is take the axle shafts, they're marked, left hand, right hand, make sure you put them on the right side, they are a different length. So we're gonna go ahead and get these stabbed in now. We got John's car put together. We got the differential bolted up. The Seems Legit G-force axles are in here. One thing we didn't show on this car, we had to do the same thing as we did with mine. Since this is a 128, he put 335 hubs on the car. That also helps on the 1 series with the offset. It brings each side in by either 5 or 10 millimeters. So it helps him fit the bigger tire because he's got a 15-inch conversion on this car with a 275. So all this stuff's in here done. We're ready now to drop the drive line back in. We'll show some more content on this right now. We haven't shown much of the LT stuff yet, but that stuff's coming. Then we can measure for the drive shaft. Since this is in, the trans will be set. That'll do it for this car. This one, you haven't seen anything on lately yet either. But this is my 1 series. It's going to be getting the iron block 6-liter 4L80. This car we will be bringing to lsfest East. We still have not recorded, we still haven't gone over the content on this car yet. I've really been taking my time and doing things in preparation for making videos for each part. So I have all the wiring out, but I haven't touched any of the stock wiring. That's all there. All the stock fuel systems there. I've just been finishing up the mounts. I built a set of headers, 2-inch primary headers for this car. So I've been doing a lot of stuff in the background, but we're gonna be making detailed videos about the wiring, fuel, what to do for AC, because we kind of skipped that on Frank's car. And we'll be getting started on that within the next week or so. You should be getting some videos out pretty soon.